If what they say is nothing lasts forever, then what makes love the exception? So why are we so in denial when we know we're not happy here? Great words by a great poet. Welcome to episode 3 of All the Good Names Are Taken podcast. I am your host, Reese, aka Jobless Reese, aka soon to be homeless Reese. Today, for the first half of the podcast, we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day. Yeah, Valentine's Day just happened not too long ago. Trust me, I'll get this out before it's a distant memory. But with the way social media works right now, everything seems like a distant memory because it happens and then it's gone. But we'll get to that later. Right now, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. How was yours? Mine was okay. It was low-key this year, due to an agreement. But how was your Valentine's Day? Did you get what you wanted? Did you give what you wanted? Did you get engaged? Did you get married? Did you break up? Did you make up? Did you do your makeup? Did you lose your makeup? Did you find that special one to spend it with? And was that special one the person that looked back at you when you looked into the mirror? Introspection for the win. So, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Valentine's Day. Namely, because half of the world that celebrates it thinks it's just a made-up holiday, while the other half will definitely not sleep with you if you don't get them a gift. Where do you fall in on that? Well, I'll tell you where I fall flat out. Right away. We're going to get into it right away. By the way, you're listening to the greatest podcast in the world of all time and all the universe. Thank you. That's according to my mom. Don't sue me. Valentine's Day, I'm going to have to break this to you, is in fact a made-up holiday. Someone did have to make it up. Guess what? Someone made up all the holidays. All of the holidays that are celebrated anywhere are quote-unquote made up. They were created at some point in time by somebody. All of them. And honestly, there's a holiday every day for something. So, you're absolutely right when you say Valentine's Day is a made-up holiday. So the real question, in my opinion, is Valentine's Day worth it? We'll answer that a little later, though. But when I thought to myself, you know what, let me talk about Valentine's Day, I was like, where did it really come from? Because you hear a lot of information. You heard a lot of information. But is any of it real? So I looked it up a little bit, and I found out, wow, it's kind of crazy. Listen to this. Looks like at least part of the origin of Valentine's Day was started in ancient Rome. And I'm getting this from the internets. You can look it up yourself. This one's from NPR. But I'm quoting this. Though no one has pinpointed the exact origin of the holiday, one good place to start is ancient Rome, where men hit on women by, well, hitting them. From February 13th to 15th, the Romans celebrated the Feast of Lupercalia. The men sacrificed a goat and a dog, and then whipped women with the hides of the animals they had just slain. The Roman romantics were drunk. They were naked. Young women would actually line up for the men to hit them. They believed this would make them fertile. The brutal feat included a matchmaking lottery in which young men drew the names of women from a jar. The couple would then be coupled for the duration of the festival, or longer if the match was right. That's right, the ancient Romans, they were doing speed dating. They were doing matchmaking even back then. That was Tinder before Tinder. Ancient Tinder. It goes further to say, the ancient Romans may also be responsible for the name of our modern day of love. Emperor Claudius II executed 2 men, both named Valentine, on February 14th of different years. Their martyrdom was honored by the Catholic Church with the celebration of, you guessed it, St. Valentine's Day. Those crazy Romans, they give us a lot, gave us bathhouses and orgies, and apparently they heavily contributed to Valentine's Day. So when you think about that, that's not that crazy of an idea that a ritual that be considered paganistic or whatever was taken over by Christianity. That happens a lot. It happened a lot in history. That's not a thing. That's how you incorporate old rituals with new ones, make people more acceptable of it. Even though it is made up, it's got kind of a history. It's got kind of a long history when you think about it. That's very interesting. Now, has it become commercialized? Yeah. But what holiday hasn't become commercialized? So now you got to buy heart-shaped candy, stuffed teddy animals, those poor animals. You kill them and stuff them, full of cotton, chocolates, which is candy, and jewelry. Jewelry. Those poor men losing all their money to have to buy jewelry. And then if you're lucky, maybe maybe you buy something from the adult section somewhere. Here's the thing about Valentine's Day, right? I'll tell you how I celebrate it. The way I celebrate it has always depended on my partner. I would like to think of myself as a romantic. Am I the best to ever do it? Yes. Depending on the girl you ask. But here's the thing. I'm not the worst to ever do it. Now, was I at a rebellious phase where I was like, it's just a made-up holiday. I should be showing you 364 so we don't have to worry about the one day. Yeah. Yes. Here's the thing. Guys and girls. How many of you actually show it 364? How many? Be honest. And you know what? I'm not even going to give you credit for 364. You know what? If you give me 241, and yes, that's the number I just put out the air. If you can say 241, you treat your girl or guy like it's Valentine's Day. Number 1, you're broke. Number 2, you're lying. Number 3, if you're not 1 or 2, you're magic. Every day, you romance them every single day you see them. Depends on what your definition of romance is. But if we're using the standard Valentine's Day romance as your baseline romance every day, that means you go the extra mile for them every single day. Okay, let's say you do. You're Superman and / or Wonder Woman. Good for you. Most of us aren't. Most of us, hey, if we can do pretty good at least once a week on a weekly clip, we're doing something right. I feel. Because you have life in the way. You can't be the most romantic person of all time every day. You're going to run out of ideas. You are. Here's the thing about Valentine's Day. If that person expects that to be the one day per year, you break your bank, so they can show off on the grams how much you love them. Well, I got a problem with that. I do. I feel like in a relationship, you should spend appropriately. You should spend your income level. You guys have to understand how you value money, how you value time, how you value effort. Because, hey, maybe somebody doesn't really care about what you spend on them, but they care about the kind of time you spend with them or the time you spend your gift on them. They'd probably want a more thoughtful gift than an expensive gift. If they want an expensive gift over a thoughtful gift, I ain't saying they're a gold digger. Once you have all that figured out, then you should know your partner well enough to know whether they'd like Valentine's Day celebrated or not. Honestly, Valentine's Day, for the large part, is a scam. It is. I know, I said it. Ooh, I said it. And why? It's because everything is marked up just for that day. Roses, candy, everything. Anything that can slightly resemble romance is marked up that day. Hotel rooms, bed and breakfasts, all of it. And why? Why? Because they know you're going to spend. Because they know you're going to feel the pressure to go all out and be special for your significant other because you love them. And then all of a sudden, you're spending money you didn't have or want to spend or could have spent on something else. And the crazy part is, you do those same things a week later, you're paying half or less of what you paid if you did it. So yeah, the expense part of Valentine's, absolute scam. But if you do celebrate other holidays, why not celebrate a day of love with your significant other? Besides your anniversary. Your anniversary should be a given. That should be a layup. That should be automatic. That's something that you should be doing. So why not throw another day in there? You don't necessarily have to do anything expensive. Just do something special. Do something to let them know that, hey, I guess you're all right. I guess I'll keep you around at least through the winter season. There's nothing worse than like one partner having expectations of the day and the other partner not having expectations of the day or not fulfilling those expectations. Like, let's say my girlfriend does celebrate Valentine's Day or would like to, and I won't. That's me being stubborn. If she's not asking for the sun and the moon, I'm sure I could do something for her to just let her know she's significant on the day that people show their significant others that they're significant. And yeah, the other side can be true. She could be mindful of the fact that I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. But if buying a little chocolate bunny, nope, that's Easter. If buying a little chocolate heart and a card is going to be enough to like get the job done, then call me Mr. Work, because I'm going to do it. But that's just me. I'm not saying you should go out there and celebrate Valentine's Day. I just think it's a made up holiday, kind of lazy, because they're all made up. And if you're not being romantic 364 or any of those other times, then what are you really doing? What are you really saying, huh? At that case, if you're not being romantic usually, you're not doing those things any other day, and you refuse to do it that day, well, I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions on that one. You know what I'm saying, but we're friends, and I don't like to embarrass my friends, so I just let them come to their own realization, yas, queen and queen. And at some point, you'll be like, oh man, Reese, you're right about that. Thank you for saving my marriage and / or job and / or life. And then I look at you and say, hey, that's what I do. That's what I do. And you'll be like, why did you say it in a British accent? And I'll be like, hey, that is also what I do. And then that's it. That's all. That's all that's going to happen. Okay, so a little update too. This podcast was originally going to be 2 people, myself and my co-host. But my co-host, the wonderful Bree, who you'll hear eventually, she's going through a lot of stuff right now. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be my solo podcast. Solo. Han Solo, all by myself. One is the loneliest number. See, I need a soundboard so I don't have to do these things, so you don't have to be in pain as you listen to me. But yeah, this one's going to be a solo podcast series. Eventually, when she's up and running and better in X, Y, and Z, then I'm probably going to start a different podcast and we'll have a duo over there. But you know what? I'm mad interesting, yo. So you'll be able to listen to me all the time. My guy, I hired a bunch of people. I hired a joke writer. I hired an engineer. At least I think I did. I gave them like a couple dollars. They were asking me out the street, and I was like, "What can you do?" And they're like, "I can make music." And I'm like, "All right, you're hired." Other than that, also another update on I should be having a few job interviews soon. So maybe the jobless part of Jobless Reese is going to... Yeah. Actually, that's going to stay. I like being Jobless Reese. But hopefully I won't be Jobless Reese, if you know what I'm saying. And lastly, about this podcast, I always wanted my podcast, like if I was going to do one, just like my YouTube channel, to really be like a conversation with friends, right? And with your friends, you talk about every and anything to and about. Like you just talk. You just ramble on and on about stuff that does matter and stuff that doesn't matter. So this is what that podcast will be. This podcast will be a lot of different topics. Sometimes we'll revisit topics. Sometimes we'll talk about what's happening currently. Sometimes we'll talk about nostalgia. Like, it's just going to go all over the place. Hope you like that. Hope you be like, yo, I got to listen to my best friend. Go best friend, that's my best friend. Because that's what I like to do. I like to talk about everything. You can't, no one puts baby in a corner. You can't put me in a box. Unless, growing up, I was in a box. Awkward phase. But yeah, that is what this podcast will be about. So I hope you can dig it, sucker. Because that is what you will be getting. I talk about a lot of stuff. So I hope to always keep it interesting. If it's not, you could always email me at blah, 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 dot, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. The email will be in the description. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it won't be. It will be. It will be. Trust me. But also, any topics that you guys want to throw out there, you guys and gals want to throw out there, more than happy to talk about. I've had a lot of failures in my life. Relationship, personal, financial. So, learn from my mistakes. I've made a ton. I've made all of them. I've made all the mistakes. So that's nothing. I've had some successes in my life, mostly video game based. Okay, I'm lying. Not even that. I've been through a few things. And that's how we're going to bring this podcast to a close. Hope we had a good conversation. Hope you enjoyed it. If not, you just have bad taste and you should listen to it 20 more times. And you're like, oh yeah, I actually did enjoy it. This was episode 3. We're going to have many more episodes to go. So just chill to the next episode.
I love you in the evening underneath the moon. Skidamarinky-dinky-dink, skidamarinky-dink.